Hello, welcome to Do It Yourself with Wayne. We're doing a series on different styles of bluebird houses, and we've already done videos on this one, and this one. Today we're going to be building this bluebird house. Now the thing that's really different about this one is it doesn't have a hole in the front for them to come and go from. It has a slot at the top. This is a good bird house to build if you don't have a drill. You still got to have a saw, but you don't have to have a drill. It does help if you've got one for some of the features, but you don't have to have a drill. You do have to have a saw though. Now here I got my miter saw, I got my jigsaw, I got my circular saw, but I've also got a handsaw. If a handsaw is all you've got, you can build this house. Now, I got boards falling off on me, but we're going to build this this bluebird house out of a 2x6. Now this is a piece of 2x6. Obviously it's not long enough. But if you get a piece of 2x6, which is really 5.5 inches wide and 3/4 of an inch thick, 6 feet long, you may have to get an 8-foot one depending on where you go. Some places they won't have 6-footers. But a 6-foot piece will be more than enough to build this birdhouse. You need some small nails. You can use screws. You can use like deck screws. Small nails will work just fine. So let's get started on building this bluebird house. Okay, in the interest of time, I've gone ahead and cut the pieces of wood out of my 1x6, and we'll put a PDF in the description to show you the dimensions of all the pieces. And basically what I'd do if I were you, measure one piece, cut it, make sure it's right, then measure the next piece, because sometimes the spacing that the blade of the saw takes out of the wood will affect your measurements. But basically we got the bottom, we got the front, we got the two sides, we got the back, and we got the lid. Now on the top you got a 10-degree angle here. I don't think that's really critical because 10 degrees is not that much of an angle, but if you've got a saw that you can look at angles with, this is the back. This right here is a 10-degree angle sloping down this way. The bottom is squared off. This is the top. It's 10 degree here, 10 degree here. Like I said, I don't think those angles are really critical, but if you got a saw that can do 10 degrees, do that. Otherwise, just cut them off square and you'll be okay. But the 10-degree angle does make a nice, neater fit for you. So that's our pieces. Now let's get started putting them together. Now before you start nailing your parts together, one thing you want to do a little different this is the panel that makes the front door, which is this part right here. On the inside, you want to put some grooves in there with your saw. And you can use your hand saw, you can use a circular saw, but just take and put some grooves in it. The reason for that is the baby birds sometimes have trouble gripping this wood because it's a smooth surface wood, and they have trouble gripping it and climbing out. So if you cut some small grooves in there, it makes it easier for the little baby birds to get out. So let's do that now. Okay, there's no magical number for how many of these grooves you need or how far apart they need to be. Just do something like that. Well, like I said, it's just for the little baby birds to get a grip on something to climb out and make it easier to get out of the nest. All right, so that's our front. This is our back. These are our sides. The sides will go here. Actually, they'll go up to the top like that. The other side will go there. Our front, remember the grooves go to the inside, not the outside, and it'll go at the bottom of your side pieces. So on your two sides and your front, they should be even at the bottom, not at the top, because you got your gap at the top for the birds to come in and out of. And then you got your lid here. I think I got it turned the wrong way. Let's put it that way. And then our bottom will go in here. And that's all our pieces. And so that's the way it goes. When you start putting this together, the thing you got to remember, if you look at this one that's already built, one side of it has to pivot. With bluebirds, they don't like to nest on an old nest. So after you have a baby bluebirds leave the nest, you need to clean your box out. That's why this side door will pivot. I got a nail here in the front. We'll show you how to do that. That lets your side pivot open. You can clean it out after the baby birds leave. Close it. You put your nail back in there. That acts like a latch. The door can't come open now. So that's the reason for that side panel being a little bit different with the latch on it. Okay, so anyway, let's get started building this. All right, I'm gonna start out by putting a couple nails in my side pieces, or through the front into the side pieces. Now you can use screws. I'm just using regular small nails because they don't split the wood as easily. But when you're doing this, just remember, don't put any nails straight in through here on the side that's going to pivot. It doesn't matter which side pivots, but one side has got to. All right, so I'm going to turn this over and do the back side now. I was about to put this on the wrong way. Make sure that the angle that you put on the top of your back piece, that angle matches the angle of this. Because I was about to do mine the wrong way. Need to turn this thing around so I can see it better. Maybe I can drive my nails straight that way. I usually do better than that last one. Much better. Let's put one more in there for good luck. All right, so that gets these three pieces nailed together. Let's go ahead and put our bottom in here. It may not fill up your space exactly, okay? If you look at what I've got here, my bottom doesn't quite fill up the space, but that gives us air gap on either side. So, you know, whatever space you got, put your bottom piece in the middle of that space so you can get air come up through there. You need ventilation in these boxes to make sure you don't have a problem with moisture buildup. Couple over here. One more and we'll have the bottom nailed in. Make sure I get it in the center. All right. Now we want to put the top on. Here again, make sure your angles match on your top and your back, okay? So let's put a couple nails in there. All right, then we're going to put a couple nails over here on the side that's nailed in, just to make it good and sturdy. It's not quite squared up like I want it, so work on that a little bit. Put a couple nails in there. All right. So that gets us nailed together except for the side panel, which will go here. Like so. Well, it should slide up like that. If these are a little bit tight, you can shave it down a little bit, but it needs to fit, pretty good. So now, before we put this in, one thing you want to do is look at the inside of your box and make sure you don't have any nails where the point is sticking out on the inside of the box. If you do, those nail points can hurt your little baby birds. So if you got any nails that went in crooked and the points are sticking out inside, just pull them out and replace them. All right, now for our door on the side, we need it to pivot. And the way we're going to do that, we're going to put two nails at the top that are exactly straight across from one another. And we're going to put one right there. We're going to put our square on here to make sure we get it the same place on the back, because you want those two nails to be even this way. Okay, if one's high and one's low, your door will bind when you try to open it. They need to be straight across from one another. All right, so I'm going to take my drill. Need to change my bit. You don't have to have a drill for this. It does help a little bit, but you don't have to. But I'm going to drill where my nails go, just to make it a little easier to put them in there. But you can drive these in. That'll work just fine. They'll still pivot for you. I'll do one over here. Like I said, you don't have to do that. I mean, the build on this particular birdhouse the point was you didn't have to have a drill. And you don't, but it'd make it a little easier to get those nails in there. All right, so we're going to put a nail here, and I guess I could have gone with a little bit smaller nail, but these nails are aluminum, so they won't rust. You don't have to use aluminum. The ones you use on other things will probably work just fine. All right, there we go. Now this side should be able to pivot open like that, so you can get to your nest to clean it out. Now the last thing we've got to do is got to have a latch on here. There's different ways you can do a latch. What we do most of the time, and I know I was trying to build this where you don't need a drill, and there are other things you can do, but what we normally do is take and drill a hole at an angle like this, so a nail will slip in there. So I'm going to do that on this one. I'm going to start straight in because that's easier, and then as I start drilling my hole, I'll turn my drill to get the angle I want. All right, another nail goes in that hole, but I drilled that hole larger so the nail slides in and out real easily. So right now the door won't open because the nail holds it. When you need to clean it, you pull your nail out. You can open your door to clean your Bluebird house. After you clean it, you put the nail back. It's ready to go for another litter or family of bluebirds in here. So anyway, that's the build for building this Bluebird house that doesn't need a drill. You don't need a drill, you don't have a hole. You got a slot at the top. And as I said earlier, I put a PDF down at the bottom in the description that you can download to get the plans that indicate the dimensions and all of these parts. So that'll be down there for you as well. And we'd just like to say thank you for visiting. We appreciate it if you'd like and share our video. And subscribe to our channel. It'll make it easier for you to find our other Bluebird related videos as well as the other things that we do. So once again, thanks for visiting. Do it yourself with Wayne, and we hope you have a great day.